I'm just gonna call this episode 10 part 2 because we're still in the middle of a trial and I'm gonna finish the rest of it. I just had to go ahead and get COVID tested. I don't know yet. I'll know the results. I want to get strep throat tested, flu tested, and COVID tested. So 3 of those, 2 came back negative, which was the strep and flu. But those would be the least of our problems. We don't know if I have COVID or not. And those tests come back in the next 2 to 3 days. I mean, I'm feeling better, but my cough still hurts. My chest still hurts and my back hurts.
Whoever did is the mastermind. The true killer.
And I also have a headache. Okay, I don't even know where we're at in this
He was
trial
killed in the repository. So he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body.
Wait, what was I gonna say? It said, so he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found the bodies in the repository.
In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together.
That's true.
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
Ho 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 ho!
Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm kinda...
Yeah,
too.
because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
Dang, Yasuhiro actually said something smart one.
Hell yeah!
Go.
It's packed in there good and tight.
Is it actually packed in there good and tight? Like, honestly. Because you haven't said anything smart up until now. It's okay. Well,
He's right, though. I don't understand it either.
Thank gosh for Yasuhiro actually saying
the Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments.
And I think I know what the murder weapon is for Hifumi. It's this, isn't it? Because it says hammers of all shapes and sizes were found in the repository. One of them was found wet and apparently been recently washed. I think that means that they used that to clean the blood.
But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue. So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
I mean, unless you hit them over the head like 1,000 times, but like, yeah.
Then,
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
Yeah, it is
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
I know what it was. The weapon that was actually used to kill Hifumi. The whole picture surrounding the case won't become clear until we figure that out. Somehow I have to find the truth. Hey, why are we doing that stuff to me? I can't just show them? Okay, I guess I have to make my argument on why. What was my blue tarp spotless hammer? I have the spotless hammer, so at least that's good.
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3?
I did it on purpose.
Shoot!
I did it on purpose, I'm sorry.
What was used to kill? Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
No.
Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Okay.
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance!
You're kind of right and wrong. Oh.
Shoot!
There's no agreeing in this game.
What was used? Was it just maybe Justice? Well, whatever.
I'm very excited for the
how was the culprit? How did nobody? Sounds like a Justice
Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more.
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammers.
No, that was wrong. But that...
No, that's wrong.
Whoa! How about chest actually? Ugh.
The murder weapon wasn't a Justice Hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off.
Okay, I'm gonna have... Wait, I'll be back. I just have to ask someone something. Okay, currently my mom's not home right now. She'll be back soon though.
I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones,
It seems like one of them was missing.
and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the true killer.
Yep.
The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him. Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him.
Oh, really? Did you take a picture? Did you take a picture with the Fumi? That he was getting dropped off, and then we found out that it wasn't real?
The way the
man.
graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder.
But I think there's an accomplice.
So
and
the
I
idea
don't know.
that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
I honestly don't know still. We did talk about how there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. At least that's what we thought at first, but... My god, no argument, I can just choose? Oh crap. I already used all these, I probably didn't take
Based on the
them.
rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act
Okay,
can
NBA 2K21,
graduate
so
and survive.
that's what I was
Assuming the
expecting.
rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
I'm gonna take that and then hit it with impossible. Crap, I hit it.
Based
There's
on the
the
rules
accomplice.
that have even if more than one, only the one who actually, assuming the
Rule holds true.
Yes, I was right.
No, that's wrong.
Okay, see, I'm getting better at it, okay? I already used all of this, so I knew I had to take something properly.
Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
It is plausible and possible.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
That's true.
Risk versus reward benefit?
As in what she's trying to say is that if the accomplice kills the first person, then the person who was originally trying to work for the other person would then kill the person who did the first murder.
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme.
I basically kind of just explained it, but she explained it.
There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you.
See what I mean?
However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice.
Okay, so Bianca basically explained it. That's what I was talking about. I said that the person who was originally trying to work for it, because I'm not trying to say that Hifumi killed the first person with Mustafa. And then Hifumi was like, yay, I'm gonna be so good, and then the person who was originally working for him betrayed him. That's what I'm trying to say.
Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
Yeah.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
He's very gullible. He's probably the most gullible person here. Oh, now I just thought that. This plan was almost downright perfect. If someone just didn't keep their mouth shut. The plan was perfect. Killing the most vulnerable character, and then killing the most gullible character. So they manipulated the most gullible character into killing the most vulnerable one, and then killing the most gullible character before they can even squeal. Never made to convince us two murders were the same? That's the main characteristic this time. Killer must have noticed that fact from the very beginning. Which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events. They're entirely separate incidents. Killer really is amazing. Although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved. But then, who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now!
The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out the number of actions in the end of the murder. And in the debate up until now, the way the case is unfolded, when you consider all that, there's really only one person who seems to fit. Alright, so I'm gonna do the thing. I'm guessing, and there's that, sorry, no longer my girlfriend. Poor guy, Santa's about to die, you're kinda cool. There's the girlfriend, kinda cool. Poor guy, man. Awesome bro, dude. Okay, whatever. Weed man. Poor baby child. Boy. I don't know. Rich kid. Rude. We didn't care about you. You're just crazy. Back us. Okay. Actually, who could this be? I have like 20 seconds left. I really don't know. Oh, I thought it's... I don't know, actually. It can't be him in the end, can it? It's too dumb. Pinocchio? I don't know, you?
Here's my answer!
Yes!
It was Celeste.
Oh my god! Please let it be her.
Ah, so I'm the suspicious individual now, am I?
Yes! Please be her.
I really do hate this kind of joke.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my window open actually, because I need fresh air.
A joke? I wonder.
Yeah, I wonder. I guess I bet Byakuya knew this the entire time that she was the murderer when we said something to him. Also, what Celeste said before was a bit concerning.
So what you are saying then is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi.
And you weren't the nicest to him, and basically
The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit for brains, that lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot!
Well, take our accent's changing.
Pardonnez-moi.
So what?
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is he about to say what I thought earlier? Or what Celeste said earlier? What really, like... I had to look back at my video to realize it. And I didn't know it.
Is that so?
Yep, there's evidence.
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
I think I know what it is. What's the way thing who needs to have come? Paper hidden,
I got it! The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw Robo-Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush. The adults are talking now.
What? First of all, you aren't that useful, Byakuya. You only give out explanations and then you're like, why don't you tell them, Makoto? So what the heck makes you think that you're an adult? We're all high school students here, and you're not even that special. You seriously pass it on to me after you're done explaining everything.
Sorry.
Makoto, don't say sorry back to him. I mean, sure, I still really like Byakuya. I think it's the best character. I think it's the best guy character in the game, other than Makoto. Other than Makoto, Byakuya's the best boy character in this game.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual.
Both of what I said.
If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Oh, okay, are we about to actually call out on what she said?
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
Was I right?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct?
Yes, we did.
And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
Saw shadow. Something moving around at the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
she let out a blood-curdling scream.
And when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Oh, what did she say actually here? Something's wrong. Nothing in the voice. That was rather an intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costume man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so I had to put it down into the hallway.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Yep. It was. Huh? What was that? I came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi. He's in the nurse's office. Okay, I've already seen that like 5,000 times.
It was to get us to divide into two groups, so that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
That is true. Why don't we split into two groups? I'll read the hunting part. That seems much more interesting. Wow, really? Oh, well, Makoto and Hina, you come with me. Wait, her plan was perfect, because she split up Hina and Sakura, which they would have been right to. I will leave the capture of the suspicious individual to Toko, Byakuya, and Sakura.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected.
Yep.
And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on.
Oh, yeah.
That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it?
Yeah, it probably was, wasn't it?
It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor. Everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another strange thing.
Oh, is Makoto about to call it out? Because
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead.
Yeah, I think he's about to call it out. So I was not expecting this. I did not mention that Hifumi was murdered. Okay, so yeah, that's one of the parts.
You were the first one to say he'd been murdered.
So yeah, okay.
You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
There we go, Makoto's getting smarter. He's getting better at this.
I don't believe it. Everything, the whole thing was one big act.
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kind of sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't know why she did that.
Wait! Then that was...
A trap.
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed.
It's true.
Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
Oh.
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it.
Waiting for the... Taking the best of parts of this.
You made one fatal mistake.
Okay, is this where we call it out?
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but...
See, me too. I didn't catch it the first time.
Looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
See, if you just kept your mouth shut, you would have been okay.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
Yep, she said they must really be enjoying this. It's when instead of us staying up, rightfully confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die just like those guys did. We didn't tell her about Taka yet, so that's what it was. And even in the last video, I was like, after I skipped the text, I was like, wait. I had a thought in my mind and a doubt, but I was like, I just doubted it in the end.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
Why don't you tell
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
He's basically like instigating her, basically. Why doesn't that Celeste comment? Doesn't make any sense. What is he? Oh, we didn't see. Here we go. Yeah, with my cool files, that's the count. I've been using others. Maybe I have to take something as well.
All I said was...
Okay.
They must really be enjoying this.
She's going back in.
Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused.
I'm stupid.
Shoot!
Didn't mean to press that.
All I said was...
Let's do this, but I'm not.
They must really be enjoying the sight of us They must be positively lit. We are all going to die here. We are going to die. Just like those guys died.
Well, I thought we had to shoot that.
And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
So strange, okay. It's what she did. She showed her brilliance. Never mind, what's so strange about what she said is...
All I said, they must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be... We are going to die.
Just like those...
No, that's wrong! You're not gonna die just like those guys, because we're gonna live and you're gonna die.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Yep, I remember now.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
Oh god.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
No, we have very creative
Imaginations.
You claim that I was
I'm gonna call it
lying when I
imagination.
told
I
you
call it
about the
logic.
suspicious person I saw.
I wouldn't call it imagination, I would call it logic.
Then what about the picture I
Your
took?
brains. Smarts. Oh, that's forged. It's cast.
How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
Stop looking this up. We already discussed that Robo Justice he was drunk.
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on, and then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
Ugh. Yeah.
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit. Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer.
Doesn't?
In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If
No, it's
everything
not.
I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
Sorry.
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
Yeah?
No, there is no other explanation.
Yes, there is. Other explanations? It wasn't a picture of the suspect. It wasn't a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. The only other possibility is they've been drinking. Can't drink once because it's the hero he's 21. Hifumi is suspect of dancing. Hifumi is dragging away the
I
suspect.
got it!
Let's go.
It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I
What?
would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
Oh, did I provoke a nerve there?
That's certainly within the realm of possibility.
Oh, you're dead. You're done for.
The one being dragged off in that picture
You're
isn't
done for,
Hifumi,
Celeste.
but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around.
This is sick. Popping my head to it.
And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther.
Yep.
If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Such a thing is utterly impossible.
No, it's not.
Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Ooh. We're about to have a fight out here. Suspect should prove that there's no way Hifumi was dragging the suspect away. Is that really possible? There we go, another non-stop debate. No, non-stop debate, make an argument. I don't even know what this could be, probably a handbook since that's... Oh, sorry, wait, what? What? Sorry about that, what's calling?
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out!
It's probably a handbook, isn't it?
Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Then the fortune-telling idiot is the culprit after all!
No way!
Well, it could be Yasuo's message.
You dressed me up in that, then you just draped me across Hifumi and you tried to make me look like the bad guy.
Should I think something is movement?
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
What? Yeah, okay, whatever.
Shoot.
Oh, what's gonna be? I think I'm gonna
dressed me up in that suit, then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight. You tried to make me look like the bad guy.
Yeah,
like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Then the fortune-telling idiot is the culprit actor!
No way!
I was thinking was the last statement again.
You dressed me up in that suit after I... Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight.
I don't know what's going on.
Shoot! You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out. Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my...
Okay, so let's look at the blue top first. Cobblestone. Palace Healer. Okay, no, it's gonna run over justice for this. This is message. This is a wait for meat in the fighting for. Maybe that is all it says. Okay, any justice has anything like this.
Wait. You tried to make me look like the bad guy.
Like I said, ridiculous.
Okay,
as you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight.
Okay, there we go.
No, that's wrong.
Gosh dang it. So I was getting better and then I get like 3 wrong answers. 3 wrong shots.
Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious,
I was being very quiet.
Stand up like that.
I was being very quiet because I had to
Because
think.
that Robo Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
Yes. You good?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. Bed.
I mean, my chest
Just sore.
My chest and back hurt. Like my chest hurts here.
Yeah. Like when you breathe, or
when I breathe sometimes. Yeah.
Does it feel like it's inside, or does it feel like muscle?
It feels more inside than outside. My throat hurts a bit, but it's nothing bad.
Alright, well, I'll carry your trash now.
Okay, thanks.
Alright,
Okay. Sorry, my dad was checking on me. Yep. I feel like I've been at the race, seems like pretty obvious oversight. Yep.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Oh, okay.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Okay, so you caught the bait, now just reel it in.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Alright, so come on. You're gonna take the bait, now reel it in.
Checkmate?
Oh god.
Don't make me laugh, you idiot!
Oh
what do you mean, checkmate?
Celeste?
Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem.
Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
Okay, her accent keeps on changing. Who killed me? That's why I really asked you if you
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, and
and I quote, Yasuhiro.
In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Wait! But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually Taro!
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
You are making things more complicated, but I could definitely believe that thing from Taro. He looks like one.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
So you'll burn us
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
I know what you mean. Wait. No,
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
Said serious like oh, he said people's last names. He's speaking fluent Japanese.
I got it!
Got it.
That's right! Our last names! He called us all by our last names!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name.
No, it could be like when you're done.
Indecent?
Don't talk.
Ow.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No, there's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal. But he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
I think that's not her actual name. Celeste is definitely not her last name. It's probably gambling.
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
It's probably
Well,
gambling name,
no.
right?
Hold on. There's one person it could apply to, and that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say?
It's not her real name. It's probably gambling
To think
name.
you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit!
You can do both.
Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you?
You seem like a crazy person.
Well, do I?
You seem like a loser right now.
What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
No,
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
it's not her actual name.
Fine!
Make sure your ear holes are. My real name is Celestia Ludenberg.
Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
I do feel good. Just don't give up. And I think something that make her accept it. This is when the handbook comes into play. I didn't say her actual name. I bet it's a gambling name. Just the handbook class. Okay, yep. Well, I might have to take something.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name. Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that.
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone.
How many times do I have my name?
Celestia Ludenberg, god damn it!
Okay,
How long do you
so-
plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me.
No, I do.
No, that's wrong.
I do have a way. Show us your handbook.
That's it. The handbook.
The handbook can identify which gender you are, even though they don't know. You can definitely identify the real name, even if the other people don't know.
What?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it before.
That's absolutely fine. To help school life, so don't use it. Start off with a display name, only to make sure you have the right one. No, this is not an everyday notebook. It has so many more uses than that.
So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll